Day 104 of the Daily Stoic. Less is more. Quote, don't act grudgingly, selfishly, without due diligence, or to be a contrarian. Don't overdress your thought in fine language. Don't be a person of too many words and too many deeds. Be cheerful, not wanting outside help or the relief others might bring. A person needs to stand on their own, not be propped up. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations 3.5. In most areas of life, the saying, less is more, stands true. For instance, the writers we admire tend to be masters of economy and brevity. What they leave out is just as important, sometimes more important, than what they leave in. There's a poem by Philip Levine titled, He Would Never Use One Word Where None Would Do. And from Hamlet, the best of all, the retort from Queen Gertrude after a long rhetorical speech from Polonius. Quote, more matter with less art, she tells him. Get to the point. Imagine the Emperor of Rome, with his captive audience and unlimited power, telling himself not to be a person of too many words and too many deeds. Let that be a reminder the next time you feel self-indulgent or a little full of yourself, the next time you feel like impressing people. While the author of this book, Ryan Holiday, I should have that memorized by now. We're day 104. But I'm so into the content, the author doesn't matter. What Ryan Holiday has focused on here is the whole idea of not being haughty, not being overly, proud, prideful, egotistical. I get that. But I'll tell you what rang in my heart, which is why there was a pause between his writing and my color commentary here. Is what caught my heart was a person needs to stand on their own, not be propped up. Now, I've been spending some time reading other philosophers and other classical thinkers, Western classical thinkers. And I spent some time, about 2 hours just the other night, going through Heidegger and going through his kind of philosophy of man. And I'll give you the TLDR. The took too long, did not read version is essentially he found that the most important thing, the single most important purpose for any individual in life is to become fully themselves. Which is to say, to become fully human, to know thyself, to know who you are, inside and out, removed of ego, removed of selfish motive, or at least not fully selfish motive, but removing, being able to discern when selfish motive is helpful or hurtful, being self-aware, essentially, right? To be a wise sage is kind of how the persona that I can and model that conjures up in my mind is to be a whole human being. Now, what does this mean in context of what Marcus Aurelius is saying? A person needs to stand up on their own, not be propped up. That's what you need to do. You need to be a whole person. You need to stand on your own. You need to be able to think for yourself. Remove the herd mentality. Remove the group think. Become an individual. Think clearly, rationally. And in most cases, what is common isn't profitable. What is common isn't always right. What is common in today's world is probably fabricated or made up. Stand on your own. Have your own mind. Filter through the information you're letting into your system, right? We've talked about this in other days, in other quotes from these Stoic philosophers, is be careful and wary of what you allow to be enter into your mind, because once it goes in, it's in there and it can poison you. Less is more in all ways. And I could go on about this for a long time, but we've talked about this. Less is more in all ways. Less means less attack vectors. Less means less stress, less burdens, less maintenance, less sustainment, less money, less. See you in Discord, MetaFam.